Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What's Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's Saturday, it's just the weekend and we can let our hair down and have a lot of fun. And today we're going to do that with the quirky asset of the day. Mainly, it's the largest asset I think we've ever reviewed on the show, and I'm comparing that to the likes of the Godzilla and Rainbow assets that we have done in the past. But what about the map? Well, it's got a fairy tale name, but will it have a happily ever after? One thing I can tell you is that
it's my first map.
That's right, and there's some very good basic practice in today's map. However, it does have one or two quite serious flaws that we will get to later on in the show. But before we do anything with the map, it's your daily reminder. That's right, hitting the like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day, so thank you very much for your support. Today's map is Narnia by Nulos. There's no lions that I've found on the map, and there's certainly no snow-capped peaks. It's just basically a basic vanilla map. There's your start square. We've got a river, we've got some roads that aren't fully connected up, I think you can tell there as well. Off to the terrain heights and lots of flat buildable space in the 25 tiles, which is what we like to see. And then what about the resources? Resources look okay, bit of field painting, but there's nothing wrong with that, and everything else seems to work fine. Off to the workshop. Well, it's a 100% vanilla map, no DLC required. Or is there? And of course, we'll be using the vanilla European theme and the realistic 1.2 LUT. Let's have a look at these roads. Now we're talking about good practice. They have got some pretty good practice here. For a start, the roads look good and straight. And across the map as a whole, the road networking is not bad at all. Okay, I'm saying that up front. It's not bad at all. But looking at it, we're going through a forest here. Do you reckon that these roads have been laid down over the forest, or was the forest cleared for the roads beforehand? Bearing in mind, remember, if you've got Anarchy switched to always on, if there are trees underneath the roads, they'll be showing through. Well, let's have a little look by using Move It. Grab Move It here, and we'll just select the nodes and segments. We'll select this section of road here, stop the traffic, and delete. Boom. And there's your answer. Loads of trees underneath. So yes, that's for me. It's a minor thing. It's a minor thing. It hasn't caused me any problems today, but it might cause you some problems by having loads of trees showing through your roads. Okay, coming down here to our first intersection, the first one, and it is the Vanilla Wishbone. Possibly the ugliest intersection that there is. It's yeah, it needs work. After you pop these vanilla wishbones down, you really do need to drop the heights of the roads as they cross over, because they are just stupidly high. Like, look at this little grey van down there. I've just paused him again. Look at that compared to the road. It's way too high. And so yes, a little bit of work with Move It just to adjust the heights, or hand build one. Hand build one. Why not? Also, there's a little bit of a wiggle in the highways here as they lead up to the intersection. It's just not quite perfectly aligned, so at the very last second we've just adjusted the highways to fit. Is it a problem? Not really. I'm sure there are plenty of highways that have a little wiggle in them just before they reach intersections in real life, and so this is a realistic map in that case. Anyway, what can I tell you about the map? It's like I say, it's got a solid looking network that it's built upon. And it's pretty solid standards with the bridges. You'll notice the bridges later on, the pretty good standards of bridges. And one or two scenic areas as well, so there's that to say. But first maps often have some problems as well, and we'll come across those very soon. Another one of these vanilla wishbones. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. It's fine, just keep moving along through the forests where we know we have hidden trees under the highways. Well, we don't know, but we can be 99% sure. I'm not going to check again. We've seen it once, we know. But it does surprise me, as you will see a little bit later on. I would have thought that these would have been cleared. You'll see why. It won't be long before we get to the intermission, and we'll come back and have a look at that. Anyway, we've got the vanilla cloverleaf, which is a much nicer intersection. It's not a great one, but it's much nicer. Now, remember, no DLC required. Look at this. We've got the 2 lanes, one way, and then we've got the national highway. Yes, mass transit is required. So everything from now on in is mass transit, which means that to get to the start square, we have no highways if you don't have mass transit DLC. And because it's not listed on the workshop as a requirement, I have to assume that you don't. Okay, you start the game up, you don't need mass transit for this one, do you? So you don't even activate it, you load the map up and you can't play it. And that, for me, is a little bit of a problem. So, yeah, we're going to be marking things down. We've got some zigzag roads as well. I'm not sure about the aesthetics on those. But I do like the aesthetics on this bridge. The bridge is excellent. Some very nice slopes on it as well. So, good work going on there. And then we've got a little disconnected bit of highway there. And that's not because of missing roads. That's literally disconnected. I don't know why. But anyway, we've also got a disconnected tree. Don't know what's going on with him either. But right behind us, we have got a lot of fun. Prepare yourselves. For the 566 Direction Roundabout by Wesley.Kagan. Right, I don't know what more to tell you. Factoids? Why not factoids? On this day, November the 2nd, in 1924, the very first crossword appeared in Great Britain. It was published in the Sunday Express. So, 2nd was a Sunday. How about that? I never knew that. 1924. Don't know why I would want to know it. Yes. Now, the problem with this, there are going to be some foreboding slopes on something as big as intricate as this, and I have levelled out the terrain before popping down the asset, which required demolishing half of the map. It's a huge asset. Absolutely mammoth asset, but a lot of work and effort and love has gone into it, and I felt I had to review it. It's been on my list of things to review for a long time. The 566 Direction Roundabout by Wesley.Kagan, today's asset of the day. And we've gone back to the map. We've gone back to the map and back to the vanilla highways, so these will appear. But yeah, again, you can see the non-aligned highways there, straight on that side more or less. Bit of a wiggle on that one to make it fit with the intersection right there. So yes, that roundabout is just it's crazy. I've got another one of theirs on my my to review list. Talking about scenes, this scene looks, if the whole map looked like that, wow, the whole map would be really, really desirable. I mean, not as easy to play as a perfectly flat map, but yeah. Then you get areas like this. Let me settle down here, like that, and that makes the whole map. Yeah, you don't want to play that map, but it's a shame because there's lots of good work on this map, but it's just measured out with equal amounts of newbie. We'll go with newbie. I think newbie's fairer than ugly. But it is ugly as well in places. Anyway, that goes off into the fog. Let's have a look at the rail. Now, the rail has some interesting things with it, and not bad interesting things. But we will have a little bit of encroaching tree. I'll tell you that in advance. A little encroaching tree once we get to the bridges. But the bridges are of a good standard. And then we will have that interesting little twist that I was building up to earlier on in the show. So again, perfect rail bridge there. Very nice to see it's not been elevated. It's just encroached upon as we come back down to ground over here by the trees on the side, which need trimming back a little bit. And then it's good quality work. Yes, straight lines. Well, should be straight where possible. We've got level crossing there. I'm happy with that, actually, not being a bridge. That's okay. And then it comes around and bends off and dead ends here, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But have a look at this. I don't know if you can see already, but if I pull over here and grab the cursor, see, that's your rail line like that. But if you have a look here, we have got a change in the tree line along here. I think that was the original rail route right there, which means that it was actually cleared of trees for the rail line to go down. See how it goes off in that direction. So if that was cleared of trees, why wasn't the other one cleared of trees, the highway cleared of trees? Also, come over here, have a look here. You see we've all got a similar line of trees going on here. And what happens if we follow that line on? Again, it looks like it's been cleared specifically for this reason. And if we follow that line on, joins up with the rail line here. So in this kind of location, let's have a little look. There's the line of trees up there. So it would connect up maybe, yeah, roundabouts here anyway. So yes, it's a creator, and we've got the lines of trees lining the perfect rail over roads there. Actually, that is excellent work. That could have been an absolute disaster and wasn't. More encroaching trees, unfortunately, there as well. And then, sadly, we decide to go up into the mountains, and it gets steep. And it's not just this little stretch here, but it's crazy now. And this, unfortunately, is like a shot between the eyes for me, I'm afraid. Kind of ruins the whole railway, because the railways was just doing so well before this. Anyway, we'll take the intermission, and we'll come back and we'll have a look at the shipping, the water, and a few other bits and bobs.
Have you never quite worked out how to use Ploppable Rico? And what the heck is Ploppable Rico anyway? Then you need the Beginner's Guide to Ploppable Rico by BonBonB. Click the information button below.
And back to Narnia by Nulos. We have a shipping route up in the corner that doesn't do anything. It's just kind of like background shipping, really, that one. So that's fine over there. It doesn't really do anything. This one does something. This one's nice. It even splits there. Except for the split that goes a little bit too close for my liking to the coast. I don't even see the reason why we needed the split anyway. It would have been fine without it, but there's nothing wrong with it either, so that's fine. And then this just heads off towards the fog, eventually wiggles a little bit there, and that's fine. Everything's fine with it. Right, water flow. This looks to me like a seahorse. The seahorse lake, I'm going to call this one. With a duck pout on it. And everything is fine. Good water flow down that river. Except for I need to point out that that isn't the Start Square River. Here's your Start Square right there. So let's have a look at the main river down here. We've got good water flow running down here. As it just winds its way down towards the Start Square. It's getting a little bit light water flow now. Just lessening off a little bit. Hardly any motion here. Hardly any motion at all. One arrow there. Looking for another arrow. That's coming back towards us. So yes, now we're going upstream again as we head out towards the ocean. Where's the null? The null is right in the middle of the Start Square, which means it might get a little bit stinky if you're pumping your sewage into it, assuming you can build there, because obviously the highways that would be missing. Now the trees, there's a good mix of trees. There's a good amount of tree coverage as well. It's just all the ugliest vanilla trees that we could find. It's just not really much you can do if you're going to go 100% vanilla. But yeah, all these white bark trees for me, they're causing a glitter effect with my graphics card, trying very hard to make them look pretty and failing abysmally. And then we've got some farms. The farms are good. Actually, I quite like the farms. The hint of hedgerows. It's just a hint. It's not actually having to go all out to produce great hedgerows. I like there are a few trees dotted around in the fields as well. That seems quite real to me too. Then we've got a very pretty lake. I'm going to call it pretty because it's got these little colourful decorative bushes around the outside. I mean, again, it can't be pretty not with this theme LUTs combo, but it's as pretty as it's going to be. And also, look here. We've got a cleared section here for a road or a rail. What's that connecting in with? I reckon that was highway. That looks like it was meant, that was highway. So we've got road clearings for highways. I just really don't know where that connected up originally. Maybe with the main highway there with the cloverleaf continuing. We have an essential lighthouse. The essential lighthouse. That's solid work, if not outstanding work, solid work. We have the jetty, which could just be pushed down a little bit into the sand. It's been eroded away a little bit too much for my liking. Come down a few spots, right about there maybe. I don't think it'll go much further before we really start affecting the terrain around it. That looks a lot better. You can actually get up onto the jetty now, but not essential. Then over here we have a grounded freighter. Now, what do you reckon this freighter was carrying? I reckon it was bushes. Because if you look behind the freighter, we've got one of these that's just like still bobbing away in the water. And we've got a whole load of them that seem to be washed up onto the beach. So bushes, yes. Actually, speaking of bushes in the water, there is a case of drowned trees here and there. It's not prevalent in great masses all over the map, but there are a few spots where it's been overlooked, I feel. Right, so there's all of that. We have a castle. Ooh, it's a castle up here on the mound. I like the location. The castle itself is just basically a nod to a castle, really, I think. Nothing really I can mark down with that one. I think the location is fine, and it's not the worst thing. Then you've got something really weird, which is this island. Okay, this just, I don't know what has happened here. Okay, we've got another essential lighthouse. That's a good start. Okay, and then on this island we have the cemetery. We have a liberal sprinkling of rocks, the burnt out shack there, some big rocks, a small castle unit, the Park Life glory hole. We have a sunken shack there, and over there a sunken tower as well. And we also have a whole bunch of the rocks from Park Life as well. And basically fields, connecting them all together. Oh, and to rub salt into the wound, we also have everybody's favourite factory. I don't make any sense in this island at all. It's completely potty. I love it, and I also wonder if somebody was taking drugs while they were making it. Anyway, what do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. What do I think of it? Aesthetically, I think it's okay. I think it's got a good clean vibe to it. It doesn't pop. It's a little bit ugly, mainly because of the theme, but overall I think it just about deserves a 3rd star, so I'm going to go low 3. Detailing. It has some detailing issues, it really does. There's some very good practice involved in the map. It just lets itself down in a few too many places, so I'm going to give it a high 2. High 2 for detail. Gameplay potential. I was originally going to give this a 3. And then I thought a little bit about it. I decided there was just too many detailing things to fix. I had to bring it down to a 2. And then, of course, I realised about mass transit, which means the map is broken for anybody who doesn't have it or isn't got it installed into the system. So therefore, it's got to be 1 star for gameplay potential. So Narnia by Nulos. Lots of potential from this creator. Love to see some more from them. Just a few things that need to be tidied up and they'd be a pretty decent creator. Anyway, thank you very much everybody for joining me through another week of this stuff. We'll have a brand new Patreon plate coming up on Monday with all the names of the people from November. So it's too late for November, but it's not too late to join us for the December plate. So follow the link, as they say. Anyway, old map on the screen now, of course. Our tutorial on screen also from last night. Steam Weekly Chart Show is tomorrow, and you've been very, very welcome.